Hello and welcome to day 121 of 365 days towards racial change. My name is Tomlins Nyback, and I welcome you. Again, thanks for hanging in there with me and us and them. We're talking about black issues here in America, how we are impacted, the strides we're making, and all that. Remember, my view is only one of many black folks. I'm sure there are probably many black folks think they're doing well, and there's nothing to correct, address, um, to have reparations, anything. They have great lives to them and all that. Uh, I got to admit, if I had lived probably a more privileged life, I wonder if I'd even be engaged in a project like this at all. I'm just handling the cards I was dealt. Okay, and I'm not trying to change much of anything, but black issues are what we're going to talk about here. And two thoughts emerge as I go on with this project. First thought is about the black mind. Are we still, as a black community, uh, living out aspects of slavery, slave culture, the slave existence in America, and being ignorant of how things work, not knowing how power structure, not knowing how to engage? The ignorance that way. We're not ignorant, stupid. We're being ignorant as far as blind to how things work. You know, uh, I can change the oil on a car, but I'm ignorant to the fine workings of an engine. That's the ignorance I'm talking about. So don't be uh, aggrieved or upset that I use ignorance. I'm using it in the proper context. Okay. Conversely, are the white folks ignorant of their privilege, their expectation of favor, you know, the apparent blessings that they live under? Um, yeah, I think that the white mind, the geist of white people, very interesting indeed. I've come at it from a lot of different angles here through this first 121 days now, and it's amazed me. It's made me sensitive when I'm out in public, when I go around. Boy, uh, I don't covet, but I don't covet that much. But I'm saying, like, the white folks really got something going on. They got out there in position and in place. I look at my managers in my workplace, and it's sometimes it's hard working under their management. But they held it together. To a degree, they earned that space. So you know, I got to live under that. These guys, those are the guys I called clowns or squares or corny when I was in high school, smoking all kinds of dope and running around all night. They were handling their business, right? And now who's got the last laugh, But that continues. So, bottom line, does the white mind of privilege, how does that develop? How do these white men uh, earn that space where fewer black people, men or women, earn that space? Okay. And I don't think it's just a problem of per capita, of numbers. There's attitudes, education, morality, upbringing, all these things go into that. Now, my second thought that emerges is for financial literacy to increase among black people. No more get rich quick or selling dope or things like that. But we, in America, we live in a system that has certain rules and all that. There are a lot of ways legally we can engage, progress, and find our way, navigate our way. Now it's a little harder for us. Uh, what white people probably get mostly in their early years, early education, which I know for a fact because my white friends had parents that instilled certain financial disciplines in them at an early age. Not my family, not my upbringing. So financial literacy is an issue that's kind of on my mind as I go along. And we're going to get back to a lot of things that I talked to before we went into our series about the signers of the Declaration of Independence. But the financial literacy, the big thing on my mind, and I'll get off this point, is, do black folks understand that by renting space, living space, they're actually paying somebody's mortgage? Like you're not getting a piece of that. I'm starting to have some problems with this American economy that sucks the life out of me. I'm paying for products that I don't use, and I'm not made part of the franchise, part of the system. Take car insurance, take mandatory health insurance, things like that. These are things I don't run around. I'm not in an accident every day, right? Come on. Uh, I need that $2,000-3,000 just for car insurance. I want to build my life, my franchise, my business. Same thing with mandatory health insurance. I know that's different now today, but I just think about that. Now, telephone, that's good. Okay, I use the telephone every day. I understand paying for that. Oh, but you want want me to pay you a rent that pays your mortgage, and then I don't get anything. That's so, and the problem is, I'm learning in my financial literacy education. You know, I'm learning that I may have to be aspects of what I hate if I'm going to be successful in America. It's a sad twist. I'll keep you all updated on how that's going. Good luck with that, you're saying, right? I'm inspired by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. I want you to get these books because they really just put a fire under my tail about all the subjects we talk about here, and we're getting back into them slowly now that we're out of that series. The first book I read of his, A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. If you got anything from this man, get this book. Definitely. Everything else, this is the foundation of everything he's talking about. But I got a bundle because I really like what he said. I met him through a mutual friend, but here on YouTube. Black Labor, White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice, and Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com and the Heritage Institute in Washington, D.C. Behind me, you'll see hashtag #US2s, Black women, discoursing, supporting one another. Go to Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, a kind of a black Facebook. Get your support there and discourse and all that stuff. If you found me here on YouTube, then you are technologically literate. Therefore, you can find your community and your support. And we have, stay tuned. We're going to get back into Uncle Tom's Cabin, a fictional account of slave life, but I want to tell you, please read the whole book. I know it's pretty long. You think it's a little pamphlet. That's an important text. And America let it have its day and quickly buried it. And you're gonna, once you read the whole book, you'll find out. We're piecing through the argument here, but I really want you to get that book. I want you to get that, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and Dr. Anderson's 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. A Black History Reader. Today is the first, and you might get an abbreviated offering today because I'm really interested in what the Attorney General is going to say to the Senate. That's actually coming up in a few minutes, so if you can do the math and the time, you know when I'm making this video. But we're going to stick to our program, our schedule, which is the first. We do our first. We're looking for black first. We're not looking for copycats or anything like that, although many of the offerings probably will have that. It's hard to find a true first black innovation. And with that, what I mean is what a human being has done first. You know, I got a big book. Sorry, I don't have it. It's Black First. You can find it on Amazon, of course. It's called Black First. It's a big, thick book, over 4,000 entries in there. But those are the vast majority are copies of what white folks have already done and created and, you know, forwarded. But I'm looking for, that innovator that's done something that no human being has ever done. And those are pretty hard to find. So having said that, we're going to look at a building today, a structure. Not even going to look at a person per se, but we're going to look at the first black gymnasium. Now, buildings have already been around, so here's another copy. But I think this is significant, and I kind of tie a little bow, artistic bow on the end of this. First black building, first black gymnasium on a university campus. And this is, today, the specific building is called the Vechten Gallery of Art, and it's at Fisk University in Tennessee. And but before it was this big gallery and all that, it was a gymnasium. You know, when I go to a college campus, and there are actually three. The college campus used to be an actual community, and there's a synagogue and a Catholic church and another church there. But all these structures, one church still serves as a church, the one Catholic church, but the synagogue is now an art. It's a place where the art students display their works, and the other religious place has a lot of community activities, and there's a dinosaur museum underneath it, or at least there was. I hope it's still there because I think that's pretty cool. So this is a common thing that happens on college campuses. Buildings lose their former use and become museums and galleries and gathering places, blah, 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 okay? So this Van Vechten Gallery is actually internationally known, and but was the black gymnasium. Fisk still has a sports space that they built a whole new building for that activity. But back in 1887, my research, there's a conflict. One says 1888, one The book I'm coming out of says 1887, a year, sometime in there. Seniors at Fisk, uh, in um, conjunction with alumni of Fisk, raised the money to actually erect this building, brick building. Uh, and it was the upper areas were kind of for the gallery itself, but underneath was a gymnasium. There, the town I live in now, I used to walk past a church that had this kind of same, I'm sure the same deal. There's you could see down in the basement, and it's all for athletic use down there. So it's not hard to picture. Actually, the upper portion of this building that housed the gymnasium in the basement, upper portion was the mechanical arts building. So they did some drafting up there and architectural activity up there. Uh, and then it was 1948. So this is, we're talking World War II years. Um, was when the gymnasium moved to the new building, and now the whole building is a gallery. Carl van Vechten was honored. He was his name's on the building because he's one of the benefactors there. Fisk is a benefactor of Van Vechten, and so there's a lot of I guess he donated a lot of money and whatnot. And there's a big list of names. If you go to it's Tennessee Encyclopedia. I put the link in the description, but what doesn't come through on YouTube. YouTube filters out the link. You just get the text. We'll go to Tennessee. It's in the description. Tennessee Encyclopedia, and you'll find the Van Vechten Gallery there. But there's a long list of, I guess, famous painters and artists. Not my community, you know. I'm 80s rock bands, guitarists. Yeah, we could talk about that, but not artists from the early mid 1900s and beyond. Okay. Um, and this is a lesson in the humble beginnings, the sports uh, disciplines and all that, and the building, where these black folks are, just being wanted to express themselves, have a place to be physical and all that. Then from that place of sweat and toil and exertion comes this beautiful space with art and galleries and things like that. It's a testament to, I'm sure 1887. So you're talking most likely former slaves coming through there, and reimagining their story. Redefining the story. They come through some heavy, hard times, some heavy issues. Even after, we'll say, emancipation, Civil War, some of those big bullet points, they still wrestled with Jim Crow, semi-slavery going on. The community was still under attack, and white folks were still looking for free labor from um, black folks and all that. Again, I talk about literacy, so the those that couldn't attend the university or get some education, were ignorant of the system, their rights. We could talk about voting starts to come into play and all these things. And in that context, um, buildings and schools, higher learning are popping up. And remember, this just comes to mind too, how these uh, there was a this was a time of black exclusivity, and we're going to get back to some of that in the coming days and weeks, where blacks were deriving their brand new communities, Tulsa, Rosewood, places like that, rising up and whatnot, and it wasn't a bad thing; it was a good thing. Uh, we finally get throw off the yoke, and we're coming together. We're cooperating with one another. We're not shooting one another uh, in ganglands and stuff, and this crazy stuff going on here in this modern, America. You know, there's cooperation, there's community, there's unity there to create a FISC, to pool funds, cooperate, make some things, build some beautiful things in the black community, and put your uh, rightful, black name on it, and this beautiful structure, now an internationally known art gallery. So there's today's offering. Pretty brief. I got to click on CNN and see what's happening here. I'm kind of glad I work nights and have cable because I get to see what America's doing. While all these people are out at work, they have no idea these people are making world changes, right? And so it's interesting to see what's going to transpire today. I hope we don't start World War III. I'm Thomas Nyback. That's day 121 out of the way, 365 days toward racial change. I'll see you tomorrow. Please come back tomorrow.